Hello there. How are you doing? I almost had a little technical snafu there. I almost forgot to put on my AirPods before I came on here, and I realized that the sound is coming out of my laptop here, and I don't have it. I don't have my AirPods in. But anyway, put my AirPods in just in the nick of time before going live on here. It is Tuesday night. I am happy to be on here tonight, just taking a few minutes, sharing my thoughts on a new TV series that I'm really excited about that is based on a video game series that that I have absolutely loved. I played both parts of The Last of Us, and I have absolutely loved these games from Naughty Dog Studios, part one of PlayStation's game studios, and to see this new TV series on HBO Max, The Last of Us, live action. I've seen the first two episodes, so I just wanted to come on here tonight for just a few minutes and share thoughts with you all on what I think about these episodes. I want to hear from you all what you think about these episodes as well, and what you think about this series coming from it, from different perspectives, because some people are going to watch this series knowing nothing about the video game. So they have never played the video games. They've never played any video games. So they have no familiarity with the background of the PlayStation games that inspired this series. So it'll be very interesting to hear from you and to hear from others about what you think about this series, having no background on the video game series. And then there's people like me who played both of the games, who love these games from Naughty Dog, as well as other Naughty Dog games like the Uncharted series, which inspired the recent movie that stars Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg that's out. I have not seen Uncharted yet, so I'll have to check that out at some point. But that movie was inspired by the Uncharted series by this same Naughty Dog studio. So Naughty Dog has done some amazing work. Neil Druckmann is one of their creative leads over there, and he and his teams have done an amazing job putting together amazing narrative stories in the video game format, coupled with amazing technology in motion capture, computer programming, combined with that great narrative, creative, narratives and stories, creating great characters, bringing in fantastic voice acting talent, and bringing it all together to create something really special in the video game medium, so special that it has inspired other mediums like TV and movies. So I am really excited to talk tonight about The Last of Us, and I want to hear what you all think of this series. So there's just a few people out here. I'm not going to be on here long tonight. I just wanted to, I've seen both of these episodes and I've been so blown away by it. I just said, you know what? I need to just come on here and just say and just share what I think about these two episodes, what I think about the series so far, and to hear what other people think as well. So, gonna grab a couple of comments here. Kate Winslet, 2 episodes of this show is far better than any of the 12 seasons of The Walking Dead. I hate that filler, I mean show. Okay, can definitely understand that. Adrian, hello, Adrian. Hope you are doing well. Hope you're doing well, my friend. I am. And what's up, James? Huge fan of the video game here. I've been loving this show so far. And Raul, you summed up where I am as well. So I, again, am a veteran of this series. This is The Last of Us on PS4. Now, I happen to be one of those people who first played The Last of Us on the PlayStation 3 when it came out in 2013. So I played this game when it came out on the PlayStation 3. This is the PlayStation 4 version, remastered. The visuals are upgraded. But what makes this game so amazing, and I think it's a 10 out of 10 game, it is an absolute masterpiece of a game. Of course, this is a movie channel, so we're all things cinema here on 20th and 21st Movies. But what makes this video game stand above so many, or probably 99% of other games out there, is the fact that this game is one of the best examples of an interactive movie that you will ever see. The acting in this is absolutely fantastic. The story, the narrative is extraordinary for this medium. And quite frankly, it would be extraordinary for any movie or TV show. So just impressive stuff. And then recently, a couple of years ago, played The Last of Us Part Two. Now, this is a controversial entry. A lot of people didn't like the direction that this particular game went in terms of the story. I personally loved it. I dug it completely, and but I definitely understand people's concerns. Of course, I got it originally on the PlayStation 3. This is the strategy guide. So yes, I am geeking out here. The PlayStation boy is coming out tonight. I am just so happy to see this series come out in this format. So let's see. We got Thomas. How do you think they'll handle a second season? I think it'll be interesting. I'm still absorbing these first two episodes, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what I like about the episodes because I like a lot about what I've seen so far in terms of, you know, in terms of just how these episodes are treating the source material, which the source material gives so much to this TV series. And I love how this TV series is being faithful to the source material. So I really, really dig that. And I appreciate that. And I think they're executing it so well. It gives me, I feel like I'm back in the game again, but I'm not playing it this time. I'm actually seeing it playing out in live action. So I'm loving everything so far. Oh, Raul says my favorite video game of all time. It's one of my favorites as well. I would say Uncharted 4 is up there for me, but The Last of Us is so special in terms of the story. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what the TV show does. Does it go along the exact same track as this game, or um, or is it, or are they going to go in a different direction? So we shall see. We shall see. Mika, I've been loving this series thus far. I'm so bad at games though, so I couldn't get through it. I think HBO has set it up where you wouldn't have need to play the game to watch the show. Great point, Mika. Great point. And that's one thing. That's one thing I would definitely say too, in terms of, do you have to have played this game or played these games to appreciate the show? Not at all. Not at all. This show stands on its own based on what I've seen so far. If you've never played these games and you just jump right into this TV series, you will be blown away. And I think finding out that this TV show is inspired by a video game that is just as cinematic as what you're seeing in this TV series would also be impressive to know. But no, you don't have to have played the video games to appreciate this TV series at all. I think that's how well a job they have done in bringing the source material to life. I will say, however, though, that having played the video games, it does add to your appreciation of it. But whether you've played the games or not, the way this series is going, I think you can absolutely love it either way. So can't tell you how stoked I was when I found out you were a fan of the game. So glad you're covering this in the show. Would love a weekly episode review. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. What I don't know, and maybe someone can answer in the comment section, how many episodes are going to be in this first season? And because what I'm wondering is the first season going to be this game, and then is the second season going to be The Last of Us Part Two? I would be stoked through the moon if they go that route. That would be amazing. Or are they going to go narratively in a different direction than these games went? That's the interesting thing. I don't know. But let me know in the comment section how many episodes are going to be in this series. Hi, James. Love the first two episodes so far. Been an Xbox gamer, so never got to play the game. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm more of a PlayStation gamer. I'm big into the Naughty Dog games. I'm big into Persona, a lot of the PlayStation exclusives, God of War. But in all honesty, in the last like 3 years, I haven't really played much in the way of games, which sort of coincides with the time that I started this YouTube channel. So you really don't have a whole lot of time for playing games these days. But when I do play a game, I make sure it's high quality. It's got to be the good stuff, and stuff like The Last of Us, stuff like Uncharted, stuff like Persona, God of War. I can only play the good stuff whenever I do find time to play a game. Let's see. And Xbox has been killing it so far. I mean, with their acquisition of the studio that does Fallout and the Elder Scrolls. Whenever Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, I'll probably have to buy an Xbox for that game. So okay, so Jordo saying hello to Mika. Mika saying hello back to Jordo. Adrian saying hello to Mika. People saying hello to one another, being friendly. Nine. Okay, 9 episodes. Thank you, Raul. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to seeing what direction they go because if you're familiar with the game and where the story goes, the question that I have in my mind is will the series follow that exactly or will they go in a different direction? Because I remember I look back to an example being Bates Motel and Psycho, how they went with Bates Motel, the TV series went in a slightly different direction than you would have expected based on if you've seen the movie Psycho. So it may not necessarily follow beat for beat the way that the games played out. So we shall see. Jordo says, I'm a massive fan of part two, arguably even more than part one. Part two changed how I viewed storytelling. It blew me away that much. Yes, The Last of Us part two absolutely blew my mind. Now, I'm not going to spoil anything, but people didn't like the way that the story went and the way that it handled certain characters. I was totally fine with it because it subverts expectations. You know, you think it's going to be another adventure similar to the part one, but they went in a different direction. And I totally appreciate that. The visuals have been stunning thus far. I've been watching the after episode recaps, the creators, and I love how they break down each episode. Yes, and that's something, Mika, that's a great point because I remember just watching, episode two and just seeing them walk through the town and walk through the city and seeing the buildings in the distance and seeing, the overgrowth on the buildings, just like in the game. But the art design and the production design and the CGI and all that work to make those visuals come together, it looks like they're really walking through a city that has been overgrown and overrun with the overgrowth based on 20 years of being in this pandemic. It looks like you're really in that world, and that's something that I can definitely appreciate. But yeah, the visuals are absolutely amazing. How do you feel about about the changes they've made? How clickers communicate, adding more perspectives from around the world and more rules of clickers. I love it. I am loving it. Like in episode two, where you see the lady in, I think, Jakarta, over in Asia, I think. You see a little bit about this doctor who I believe is an epidemiologist or who knows a little bit about the fungal infection and what to do if there is an outbreak like that. That's the type of thing I'm looking forward to more in this series is seeing more of the world building that you didn't get in the game. And I think that's going to be something that is going to be great to see in this TV series. Okay. My Google Assistant or Cortana or someone's talking to me on my computer, so I had to shut that down. But I'm loving the additional world building that they're doing in this show so far. So let me show a couple of things here. I've got some slides prepared for y'all tonight. Hope y'all can appreciate that. So why am I on here? Why am I doing this? So hopefully you can see this. I did a poll on my community page a few days ago where I asked, it was last Friday going into this past weekend, and just talking about, hey, The Last of Us apocalyptic survival game is coming. The games are amazing and I love them, and just wanted to see or get a pulse check of the community. How many of you are excited about this series? And so based on this poll, looks like a good number of you, about 46% are super excited. You got about 5% that are, haven't heard of it, but interested in checking it out. You got about 24% being 50-50, we'll see. So based on these results here, is basically about a 60-40 split between people who are not at all interested If you take the 25% here and about half of this 50-50, and if you give half of this 50-50 to this crowd here, you have about 60% that are down with this series and about 40% skip. So that's why I decided to come on here and just share my thoughts on this series. A good number of people, chimed in indicating that, hey, I would be interested in checking it out. So this is The Last of Us. It is the show on HBO Max, and it's 9 episodes. It's from the Emmy award-winning creator of Chernobyl and the creator of the acclaimed video game. That creator being Mr. Neil Druckmann of Naughty Dog Games. This is Neil Druckmann here, very brilliant man, very famous in the video game industry. Of course, Naughty Dog is one of the studios under the PlayStation umbrella. PlayStation rocks, by the way. The great work of the people at Naughty Dog doing The Last of Us, doing the Uncharted games, and the folks at Santa Monica Studios are doing God of War. Just some amazing, amazing games coming under the PlayStation umbrella. Now, the PlayStation games, these wonderful games that I'm showing here, who were the voice actors who played Joel and Ellie? So, of course, Joel is the main male character here, and you have Ellie, who's the young girl in this game. And Troy Baker, a very famous voice actor in the video game space, played Joel, and Ashley Johnson played Ellie. And so you see a picture here of them on the PlayStation blog. These were the voice actors from the PlayStation games. And of course, you'll see here, they have these black outfits on and these balls, on their outfits. What are they doing? Well, this is part of the motion capture. When they're developing these video games, there's so much that goes into the technical aspects of making these games come to life and these characters come to life on the screen that you're playing. And the motion capture technology is part of that. So they actually have directors, they act out certain scenes, and the computers and the cameras are capturing their movements and translating that into the computer code that the controller is controlling. So I'm speaking way out of my knowledge when it comes to computer, video games, but this just gives you an appreciation for some of the work that goes into creating these games from a voice acting standpoint, from a motion capture standpoint, the computer programming, all of that in addition to the brilliant writing and the narrative elements and the creative direction, from people like Neil Druckmann and company. Of course, in this live action series, you've got Pedro Pascal. Of course, he played in Wonder Woman 84. He played in Wonder Woman 84. I saw Wonder Woman 84 in Best Buy. I saw the Steelbook. I keep seeing that Steelbook in Best Buy, and no matter what the price is, I have not been able to find myself to buy it. And it's so bad. I hate to say this, but I think I saw it for like $12.99, the 4K Steelbook, and I still couldn't bring myself to buy it. So anyway, but I like the original Wonder Woman a lot. But this is Pedro Pascal. He played Joel. He's playing Joel in this series. He is brilliant. I'm loving him as Joel. So one of the things I love these characters. I think they nailed it with these cast members. I'm loving them so far. So I love them in the video game, and I'm loving these characters in this live action series. Pedro Pascal is Joel. You have Bella Ramsey. She plays Ellie in this, and they're both brilliant. Nico Parker plays Joel's daughter, so Sarah. So Nico Parker plays Sarah. You have Gabriel Luna, who plays a very important character, Tommy. Joel's brother Tommy is a very important character in the world of Last of Us. And then you have, Anna Torrey. She plays Tess, who's a very important character in this series, Tess. And of course, Meryl Dandridge plays Marlene. Now, in this live action TV series, and interestingly enough, this same actress, Meryl Dandridge, played the same character in the video game as well. So she played Marlene in this video game as the voice actor, as a voice actress for the video game. So yeah, so these are the characters of The Last of Us. So These are the characters. You saw Neil Druckmann, Naughty Dog Studios. You saw the voice actors, Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson, and just so much beautiful inspiration that's going into this live action series that we are now able to enjoy. And I'm just so proud of the Naughty Dog team for getting this recognition. So let's see here. Druckmann has said 9 episodes for the first game and Left Behind. Okay, yes, perfect. So yes, there is. And I wonder. Yeah. So this remastered version that I have of the game also includes Left Behind, I believe, in here, which was a separate game, I believe, or it was a downloadable DLC that you could get back years ago, and so that's included in this remastered version. So yeah, so then 9 episodes from the first game and Left Behind. And I presume season two will either be, this part two game or a completely different narrative direction. I guess we shall see. They said the first season will be 10 episodes. Okay, 10 episodes. I'm looking forward to seeing them. Now, oh, you're right, Thomas. I think they reduced it to 9. Oh, okay. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, I am having trouble with the comments. It's slow here. I have no idea how they'll do part two because that game is structured in such an odd way. I don't know how that'll translate to TV. Yeah, that's a good point. Part two is The Last of Us Part Two is an extraordinary game, and I think the story, for those who are criticizing it, they have every right to feel the way they want to feel. I think it is a masterstroke of narrative storytelling, what they did in part two, And to your point, Jordo, it might be a little difficult without changing some things to execute that in this live action series. So we'll see what they do with that. We shall see. I'm looking forward to the ride. Okay, for some reason, I'm having I think I may be having internet trouble, folks, because for some reason, when I click on a comment, it is giving me trouble. But okay, so Mika, I'm so used to being able to binge seasons, so it's been hard to wait each weekend for the new episode. I'm appreciating it though. Yeah, I'm with you, Mika. You know, I'm in that mode right now where I'm jumping into this series, sort of having to watch each episode each week, similar to House of Dragon, but I do prefer to binge watch, and because I do have The Walking Dead. I have several seasons of The Walking Dead on Blu-ray. So over the last few years, Best Buy, Black Friday sales, I've gotten like a season here, a season there, real super cheap price on Blu-ray. And what I plan to do one of these years is do a massive binge watch over some holiday season and just watch the first, say, 5 seasons of The Walking Dead, so, and I haven't been spoiled on hardly any of it. So, I'm just looking forward to it. And plus that series is based here in the ATL in Atlanta. So I've got to watch it at some point. So Jordo, yeah, I am loving the weekly drops. It gives me time to soak it in and reflect on it. Yeah, and I think somebody asked, "Hey, will I be doing a review of each of or a discussion on each episode?" I don't think so. I think what I'll be doing is probably popping on here, maybe every few weeks or so, talking about, say, episodes 3, 4, and 5, and maybe episodes 6, 7, and 8. Or something like that, and maybe do one on the penultimate episode, and then the last episode. So I'll figure out a good strategy. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, what you'd like to see. Really interested how they started these first 2 episodes. Chilling performance by the scientist in episode 2. I agree. I completely agree. Her answer to the question, "What should we do?" When the guy asks her, "What should we do?" Wow, the answer that she gives, whoo, something. I also highly recommend the Last of Us podcast Troy Baker is doing every week with the creators. I didn't know about that. I'll have to check that out. Troy Baker is brilliant, by the way. He is brilliant, as well as the voice actor who does the Nathan Drake in the Uncharted games. I forgot his name, but he is brilliant as well. I feel like part two will be cut into a season 2 and 3. Part two is massive compared to the first. I agree. They also spent 15 months filming this season so Bella Ramsey can age into the role of older Ellie. Yeah, yeah, that sounds, I think that would be a good way to go. Mika agrees with Jordo about having time to absorb each episode. I agree, Thomas. I think they'll split it into two seasons. I think that would be a good move on their part. I really do. I really do because there's so much going on in that part two. And again, like Mika and others have said, what's so beautiful about this is you don't have to have played these games to appreciate this series. In fact, I think in some ways, for people who haven't played the games and you're experiencing this world and this story for the first time, I'm kind of jealous of you because you are going to be able to just experience the magic of this story and be able to see something really special. And I'm happy for you, and I hope you enjoy the ride because this story, if they continue executing it the way I think they are, you are going to love it. You're going to love it. With how much viewership is going up from episode 1 to 2, I'm hoping for a green light on season 2. Yeah, me too. Me too. That would be great. What did you all think of the clickers? The prosthetic design is great in my opinion. Yeah, I think so. I saw episode 2 and I really dug, the way they executed the clickers, because that's those are some of the bad boys, in this game, how to deal with those, with those clickers. If you don't, shoot them right, they'll just grab you and you're, and you're gone. I love the clickers. It felt like seeing them for the first time. Again, I have no idea how they got the actors to move exactly. Yeah. Yeah. The movements, they are just hitting every point. And I'm glad that Neil Druckmann has a big hand in the production of this TV series. And I think that's a big reason why they've done a good job of staying so true to the source material and realizing it in this live action format so well. I hope they keep it up. I'm amazed at how they develop these video games. They are movies in themselves. I agree. I mean, these video games, folks, you're talking about to produce something like this. This is The Last of Us. This is a narrative driven, video game interactive experience. I don't know how many people work at Naughty Dog Studios, but it's probably a couple of hundred people. So you have about a couple of hundred people, from computer engineers to art designers to artists, voice actors, writers, art design people. You have a whole team of hundreds of people who are contracted for anywhere between 3 to 5 years or so to make this product. And it's like literally probably $100 million or more to produce a video game like this. And for a game like, say, Grand Theft Auto 5 from Rockstar Games, it took them probably about 5 to 7 years of a team of roughly 500 people and a budget of $300 million to produce that game. So it just gives you an idea of just how much goes into producing these amazing works of art. And I'm just so happy to see them make their way to, to other forms of art like movies and TV. So, and really the reason why, The Last of Us is being adapted in this way is because the story is just so absolutely incredible that it deserves to be told on a format that more people are going to be able to appreciate. So I'm really happy to see that. Heard, Jordo, that they consulted fans as well. And that's a good move. Awesome move on the movement of the. Yeah, and that's good stuff. Yeah. And yeah, I agree, Mika. I mean, they really nailed the casting. Pedro Pascal as Joel. He is really on point. He is on point as Joel. And the girl that's playing Ellie, she's great. Tess, his daughter, Joel's daughter, everybody is on point. And again, I just love the way they expanded on the world because this is a live action. They're able to show you some other things that you didn't see in the game and more things in the environment, more characters, more actors, different perspectives. I really am enjoying that. Yeah, I agree. Nico Parker as Sarah was great. Love seeing Nico Parker. She reminds me so much of her mother, Thandi. Oh, okay. So Thandi Newton is Nico Parker's mother. I did not know that. See all these connections you make. It's like, oh, this person is okay. I did not know that. Thank you, Mika. Also love seeing Anna Torv. Yep. I'm so curious to see Frank in the next episode. I love the actor in season one of The White Lotus. Yeah. That's good stuff. Yeah. So let us go over. Let me show something else here. Let me share my screen. I will share my screen here. And let's go to the TV series The Last of Us on IMDb. All right. So this is the TV series The Last of Us. Of course, you see some action there.
Name's Frank.
Here's the thing, Frank. If I feed you, then every bum you talk to about it is going to show up here looking for a free lunch. And this is not an Arby's.
Well, Arby's didn't have free lunch. It was a restaurant.
Sooner or later, there'll be raiders. They'll come at night, quiet and armed.
Yeah. So that's a little sneak peek at episode 3. And episode 3 will be long, long time. That's coming on this Sunday. And I am here for it. I will be here for it. I'm not sure what time it's going to drop. Is it going to drop right at like 12 a.m. on Sunday morning? Or does it drop at like, I would imagine it drops at around 9 p.m. at night on Sunday, similar to how House of Dragon would drop, is my guess. But I guess I shall see. Let me know if you have any insight into that. But this is your cast. Pedro Pascal is Joel Miller. You got Bella Ramsey, who plays Ellie. Ellie. You have Tommy being played by Gabriel Luna. Merle Dandridge plays Marlene. You have Anna Torv playing Tess. Nico Parker playing Sarah Miller. And she looks just like her mother here in that picture. You have Christine Hakim playing Ratna Pertwee. This is the doctor. This is the scientist in episode 2. She is amazing. But yeah, just so many great actors in this series. Of course, the cast and the crew, you have Neil Druckmann here, who is, big part of the direction and the production of this series. So absolutely love that. Now I'm going to go over to and share something else. I'm now going to share the screen and show the video game IMDb entry. So this is the video game here, of course. One of the great things about The Last of Us, the video game, is the music in this series. And that's part of what puts you into this world of which I hadn't even talked about. What is The Last of Us about? Well, basically, The Last of Us is about it puts you right into the world 20 years after a pandemic has basically wiped out most of human civilization and most of humanity. This is a pandemic that is a fungal infection called the cordyceps infection, which is like a plant-like infection that infects the brain and causes people to turn into almost zombie-like creatures. Now, it's not a zombie thing, but you're almost like a zombie-like creature in the sense that the fungus takes over and causes you to, want to kill other people, eat them, transform them into the infected, and the infection spreads. But this fungus is spreading across the entire world. and it is infecting people and it is killing people. And there's very little of normal humanity left. People are now forced into quarantine zones and fighting to survive and desperately trying to figure out, is there any cure to this infection that broke out 20 years ago? We are introduced to the character of Joel early on when this first breaks out. We're then fast forward 20 years later to present day, where Joel is living in the world. We've been in this pandemic for 20 years. You see, the society that used to be is now overgrown. And because so much of humanity has been wiped out, buildings are no longer cared for, landscapes have overgrown, and basically nature has taken over. It's taking over civilization again. And you see that as you walk through the cities and you see the plant and the vegetation just taking over the roads, the streets, the buildings. It's just a really interesting and fascinating world to see. And I think from an art design and production design standpoint, they really do a nice job of putting you in that world and making you think, wow, this looks really real. So I really enjoyed that. But one of the great things about The Last of Us, as I was saying, is the music of The Last of Us. And the music is from this great individual here. If I can show you this individual, all cast and crew. When you hear that music, dun, 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 dun. Yes, music by Gustavo Olala. My computer's running very slowly, so I apologize if this is not coming up, but I just clicked on Gustavo, and I'm trying to bring it up. Come on, computer. Here we go. This is Gustavo Santaolalla. So he is responsible for the music. He's a composer that composed the wonderful music that you're hearing that really puts you in the mood of being in this world that is just a shadow of what it used to be. So this is Gustavo Santaolalla, who basically wrote this music. It's a lot of guitar, guitar-based music, and it's just absolutely beautiful and really puts you into the mood of that world. So let me go back to the comments here. Let's see. Thomas thinks, I think every 2 episodes for a review would be great. Okay. Sounds great. I think a 2 to 3 episode reviews would be fun. Okay. Thanks, Jordan. I appreciate that. I too am jealous of the first timers of this story. Part 2 can get pretty nihilistic, so I'm really interested in newcomers' reactions to how bleak the story gets. Yeah, I think so too. Mika considers herself a first timer because I was horrible with the game. Yeah, Mika, I find the older I get, I'm really bad at games, to be honest with you. I was trying to play Elden Ring. I have that, and I suck. I'm awful. I'm horrible. I mean, the games are fun to play, but I would imagine younger kids, teenagers, they can probably just blaze through these games, and I'm sitting there struggling. But they're fun. When you have time to do it. Laugh out loud, Mika. It ain't an easy game to beat. I'm on my 3rd playthrough right now, and I still die tons of times. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, me too. So true. Yeah, this next episode is 1 hour and 20 minutes long. Interesting. Yeah, the first episode was 1 hour 20 minutes. The second episode, I think, was right at about 1 hour, and this 3rd episode is now 1 hour 20 minutes. So fascinating. Episode 3 looks good. Yeah, I agree. I'm excited. This episode drops for me at 9 p.m. on the East Coast. Yeah. And that's along the same, that's the way they did House of the Dragon. Those episodes would drop right about 9 p.m. Eastern time or right before 9 p.m. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be part of my Sunday evening watching over the next few weeks. That music score is awesome. Really sets the tone. I agree. Gustavo, he did a great job with the music. It made me so happy to hear his score again. It sounds like a new score at times too. Yeah. I mean, folks, if you are experiencing The Last of Us for the first time in this TV series, I am so happy for you because you are going to experience one of the most amazing stories ever told in any medium. And it should give a lot of people appreciation for, there are great stories told in so many different ways, whether it's in books, whether it's on TV, whether it's in movies or in video games. I mean, folks, a modern video game, it's not Pac-Man. We're not talking Pac-Man or Pong or Missile Command anymore. We're talking about real narrative driven, compelling stories with great characters, acting, directing, production design, all of the things that go into making a movie. When you beat one of these games and you roll credits, it is like watching the credits of a Marvel film. When you see the end of a Marvel movie and you see literally roughly, I don't know, 500 to 1,000 people's names scrolling for like 10 minutes in the end credits. It's a similar feeling watching the end credits of one of these video games and the teams that are put together to make these amazing multi-million dollar productions over the course of, several years. So wonderful stuff. So if you're experiencing this for the first time, or if you come at this series having played the games, I think we are in the midst of just something really special to see in this TV series. So definitely tell a friend about The Last of Us. If you think someone knows would be interested in a series like this, if you're interested in like survival thriller type, stories set in a world like this, hey, definitely tell a friend about it. I think they might very well enjoy it. Let's see. It made me so happy to hear the score again. Jordan said, yep, I showed that. Okay, Eddie, as someone who has played both games, the show is so far underwhelming since it is so closely following the game story, hoping it starts to deviate from the source material a bit more. Yeah, that's an interesting point, Eddie. We shall see. I mean, I don't know, is it going to follow beat by beat this story? Now, for those who have not played the game, Eddie, they haven't played the game, so they don't know the story. But I wonder, are they going to, it's just going to be interesting to see what they do. I would imagine that there's probably some differences, but I guess we'll just have to see. We shall see. Let's see. But enjoying it still. Yeah, I am too, Eddie. I mean, I'm really digging it. I think they're executing it really well. And one of the things that I really like that we've talked about is how, because it's a live action series, they're able to show us some different things that we didn't see in the game. So like that scientist, lady in Jakarta, I'm interested to see if they, where that goes, and just other things that we didn't get to see in the game. Definitely agree that this will give people a greater appreciation of video games. Agree the development behind them is simply amazing. It really is. There are times that I wish I could work for one of those companies in some capacity, but I say that, but the reality is those companies tend to burn people out. I've heard horror stories about when they're, when they set a deadline that, hey, we're going to ship this game in, the fall of 2023. Those 6 months to a year before that ship date, they are just killing people to get that game finished in some cases. So I can't say that's the case with Naughty Dog, but I've heard, some horror stories about other studios. I think they will deviate some, but we shall see. Yeah, I agree. It'll be interesting. And based on what I've seen in the first 2 episodes and Neil Druckmann's involvement, which is a big part of it, I have a good feeling that they're going to go in some really nice directions with this story. So yeah, I just wanted to come on here for a few minutes, folks, and just share with you my thoughts on The Last of Us. I've seen episodes 1 and 2 so far, and I'm really impressed. I mean, I think they've done a really nice job of realizing the world that is presented in this game, a world that is, 20 years after this horrible pandemic, the cordyceps fungal infection that has basically wiped out most of humanity. It takes over people's brains and turns them into controlled creatures that then infect other people. And there appears to be no cure. But we follow the story of Joel, who is a man who we see 20 years earlier when the outbreak occurs, and we now see him in the present day, now that we've been in this for 20 years as a society and humanity trying to fight for survival and the ultimate realization of a cure somehow. There's a desperate search for that. Joel comes into contact with this young girl named Ellie, and she has some significance. What is her significance? What is her role in the world and in this story? And they go on a journey together across the country, and we see their relationship as they get sort of develop a bond together. And it's just such a fascinating story to see their journey together and where that journey ultimately leads the two of them. And I just think both of the characters are amazing in the game. And I really like the actors that they've chosen for the live action series. So far, I think they're doing a really nice job. I really like some of the humor that they've put in there. I like the writing that they've done so far with the lines, and I think the characters are really soaking up the material, or the actors are soaking up the material really, really well. Great stream, James. Looking forward to you covering it some more. Thank you, Mika. Thank you. Great stream and fun hanging out. Excited to keep talking about the show with everyone. Yes, absolutely. So yeah, I do plan to come on here and just share some more thoughts on future episodes. I don't think I'm going to do it episode by episode. I'll just, come on here in a few weeks, talk about maybe episodes 3 through 5, and just kind of split it up that way. And then do, another one, and probably do a finale to wrap it up and just give an overall review of the season and really talk about it in the vein of how I feel about, what they did with the full season and how that compares to the game, and, what I appreciate about each. So really appreciate you all coming on tonight. Really enjoyed it. But if you know someone who you think might like The Last of Us, definitely encourage them to watch it. We want to make sure that we get as many people to watch the show as possible, because that's going to hopefully ensure that the season 2 will be greenlit. So definitely want to see more of it. But again, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy the rest of the week. Tomorrow is Wednesday, hump day, as the time we're doing this stream. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I hope you look forward to a great weekend, and we'll look to see you soon. Peace, everybody. Good night. Can't wait for episode 3 on Sunday night.